Hey guys, welcome back to the Nintendo vs Sega series. This is the Chilean Retro Gamer, and the game we're gonna be doing now is Pitfall 2: The Lost Caverns on the arcade, and this is not available on GameAnyone.com. Why? Because this is not a walkthrough of the game, it's just a short gameplay. And I have to give you an explanation of this, about this. Many of these games won't be covered completely, guys. I'll be providing a short gameplay of this. Why? In the specific case of this game, it's kinda long. Because when I did a live stream on this last year, it took me like 2 hours and a half, 3 hours to beat it completely. After a lot of failure, because if you die, you have to continue from, well, you can continue from the same place you got killed. It's a little bit of a continuation feature, sort of checkpoints, but it takes you some time to beat the entire game. And considering that MAME doesn't have save states or saving systems such as password, well, this is an arcade game, even if there are some arcade games with password, but not this one at all. Since I don't have those possibilities, I prefer not to end up exhausted by recording 2 or 3 hours in a row and then editing and all that shit. I don't want to do that, seriously. In that case, I prefer to live stream and forget about recording stuff. That's why I'm just basically showing you the basics, showing you the main features of this game for you to download it and play it by yourself on the MAME emulator. Pitfall 2: The Lost Caverns. It was originally made by Activision, but remade by Sega. I think you could read like 2 seconds of the title, in which they basically mention the fact this game originally was made by Activision and reprogrammed by Sega in '85. Sequel, of course, direct sequel of the first Pitfall, which was famous on the Atari 2600 with the same gameplay, but of course this game offers a lot of more possibilities and it's a lot more entertaining because, well, even if it looks repetitive at first because of the background and the kind of enemies you are dealing with, it's actually a game with 4 big areas, if I'm not mistaken, 4 or 5 big areas. You are supposed to get keys in order to get a treasure at the end of the game, if I'm not mistaken. But you actually get an ending in here. It's not repetitive in that sense. Now, the areas I remember, apart from the forest, are the caves. You will see a little bit of them later on. The mine, in which you actually can ride mine carts, for example. And at the end, it's you are in a sort of temple, hidden temple, with a lot of traps and all that good stuff. So you have to collect those keys at the end of each area, and I think in order to reach some of these keys, you are supposed to get some other items. It's a little bit of a maze game as well. It's not just a simple platform, it's a big area and a big maze in which you have to take different ways in order to grab items which are necessary later on. So this is way better in terms of music, in terms of graphics, animation, than the prequel, of course. The prequel was made in 82-83, if I'm not mistaken, on the Atari 2600. But of course you cannot compare, graphically speaking, the Atari and the arcade, which was a lot better even than the famous consoles such as the Master System or the NES back in '85. As you can see, some of the enemies are repeated, such as Scorpion, these famous surprise pits, surprise ponds. It's like a blood pond. It's kind of strange. The typical logs, we are rolling on the floor. You have variety here as well in terms of enemies, not that repetitive. You have different obstacles to deal with on your way. The famous ropes. Actually, this part is kind of gay too, because as you can see, I just died. And yeah, it's basically a matter of time, and I have to wait for a little bit and be patient and all that. It just failed again. And once again, yeah, I gotta find the right time. As you can see, I have a checkpoint, so it's a sort of continuation feature, so I can continue from the same place in which I died. So yeah, this is such a slow game. It takes you a while to complete it. I mean, took me a while, more than 2 hours to beat it. As I said before, MAME doesn't provide me days of to save the game and try again the next day or something. It forces me somehow to complete it the same day, and since I don't have the time and willingness to do so, because I have to live stream and all that, I prefer just to show the game, to introduce the game in order to make you play the game yourselves. Actually worth checking it out. And these are the little alligators, which are actually in the first game as well, if I'm not mistaken. Okay, that was a bad attempt. Matter of timing. Once again. That was really close. Even the fruits are attacking you from the, you know, the trees. And also some floating logs as well. So yeah, this is a sort of boss, but it's not necessarily the boss. Okay, just got the first key, which basically represents the end of the first level and the first big area. Now I'm dealing with the second one, which are the caves, icy caves / water. You also have to swim. You will see at the very bottom of this area you are supposed to swim and do something else. You will see in a minute. So the game provides a lot of variety. It's not repetitive. It has an ending, as I think I mentioned before. So it's quite different and a very improved version from the first game. Okay, I think you are supposed to grab all of these items you just saw. You know, like sort of crystals. Because if you don't grab them all, I think you won't be able to reach the second key. It took me like an hour to figure this out, I'm not kidding. You are supposed to grab all of these items to make the necessary jumps. In here, well, I can swim. I have to take another way for me to grab more of these items. Different ways, passages, and this is pretty interesting. You can ride one of these balloons, literally fly to the very top and take the way you want to go to. So through this way you pop the balloon on purpose by crashing into the wall, and you can see a long area in which you are supposed to grab all of these diamonds or whatever they are. I think there is even one at the very bottom of the swimming area. I didn't check, but these are complicated to get, trust me. Because you have to fall down and land properly in an area in which you can jump and get the item later on. I just got killed, what an idiot. So the idea is not to fail in the jumps either. It was actually made on purpose for me to see how many more objects I'm supposed to get at the bottom of the area. Even, as I mentioned before, there is one at the bottom of the sea that I'm supposed to grab. Yeah, the frustrating part in here is basically you have to swim back to the ladder and try all the procedure again with the balloons and all that. So it's kinda tiring, but it's a good challenge. So I really recommend you to get this game and try it out by yourself. Well, for now, I'm just showing you this. I'll see you in the next part, or in the next episode of the series. See you later, guys.